And we're just 24 hours away from the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. And while the inauguration preparations are underway, the Senate is busy multitasking with Biden appointment confirmations and a looming impeachment trial. So let's get all the latest with Yahoo Finance's Jessica Smith. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Kristen, it is going to be quite a week here in Washington. Of course, as you mentioned, the big event being the inauguration on Wednesday, but there is much more happening. So let's start with today, the last full day of Donald Trump's presidency. There are reports that he could issue pardons to as many as 100 people today. He is expected to leave D.C. after a farewell ceremony tomorrow morning. And of course, then we have President-elect Biden coming to Washington. He'll be traveling from Wilmington today, and then he'll take part in a ceremony on the National Mall tonight to honor those who have died of COVID-19. And then tomorrow, he and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will take their oaths of office around noon or so. He'll give his inaugural address, and then he will start with a host of executive actions, from extending the freeze on student loan payments to extending restrictions on evictions, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, ending the Muslim travel ban, mandating masks on federal property, interstate travel, and he'll start sending an immigration bill to Congress. And then we'll expect more executive actions later throughout the week. Congress is going to have a busy week as well. Today, they're starting confirmation hearings for 5 of Biden's nominees. The focus today is on Treasury and his national security team. Then later this week on Thursday, we'll have another confirmation hearing, this one for Pete Buttigieg for Transportation Secretary. And then tomorrow, we're expecting, though it's not certain yet, that the newest members of the U.S. Senate, 2 senators from Georgia and Harris's replacement, will be sworn in. Again, we're not exactly sure on the timing, but it's looking like that could be tomorrow. Majority Leader McConnell and Democratic Leader Schumer are working on a power sharing agreement right now to deal with this 50-50 split in the Senate. And of course, impeachment is looming large over all of this, over everything that's happening in Washington. We're still waiting on a timeline for that as well. We did hear from the leaders on the floor today. Schumer said there will be an impeachment trial and President Trump should be banned from holding federal office ever again. We also heard from McConnell saying that the mob that attacked the Capitol last week, or almost 2 weeks ago now, was fed lies and, quote, provoked by the president. Of course, Kristen, everyone is watching what he has to say about this to try and get some reading of how he'll vote in the impeachment trial whenever that may happen.
Now, Jess, I want to quickly ask you about a call that you were listening in on a little bit earlier today from the Business Roundtable. What are they looking forward to in 2021 and with this Biden-Harris administration?
Right. This is a group that represents nearly 200 CEOs of some of the nation's biggest companies. This call was with the Business Roundtable CEO and the Walmart CEO, and they said that, of course, their top priorities center around the pandemic. Number 1, ending the pandemic and actually fighting the virus. And number 2, getting economic relief to people who need it and small businesses. Some of the other things they're watching are climate change, racial justice, and immigration reform. But of course, the focus right off the bat is going to be on the pandemic. They said that they are largely supportive of President-elect Biden's nearly $2 trillion stimulus plan. Even on the minimum wage, they said they do want to see a minimum wage hike. They want to see it done in a bipartisan way. They said if that could not happen in the stimulus package, if you couldn't get Democrat and Republican support and it might hold up the rest of the package, they said to put that off, though they do think it should happen. Another interesting note was from the Walmart CEO saying that he had been in contact with the Biden administration about speeding up the vaccination process, saying that he'd like to see more clarity, more consistent rules to make this process move faster. They're also watching issues like trade and taxes. They're opposed to Biden's plan to raise the corporate tax rate, and they're saying they're hopeful that Biden will take a more thoughtful approach when it comes to issues like trade. Kristen?
All right, Yahoo Finance's Jessica Smith, thank you for bringing us those updates as always.